The Spartan civilization was very different than any other Greek city-states. Young baby boys were preferred in the civilization because they were strong Spartan soldiers.
Push! Push! It's a boy! It's so small!
If a baby was born disabled, such as premature, it would be thrown off of a cliff called Mount Taygetus. The parents that give birth to the child would be shunned from society because they were thought to reproduce more disabled children.
Today we gather here on Mount Taygetus. This baby is deformed. He suffers from a premature birth. His life must end. If a baby was born healthy, then it would be raised by their mothers to become part of the future Spartan army.
At age 7, young Spartan boys were taken from their house and brought up by the state in barracks. These groups of young boys were under the charge of a governor called a paternomos. Motherly influence was thought to be damaging to the boys' physical education.
Can I help you?
Yeah, is your boy 7 years of age?
Yes.
Aside from the lead.
What are you talking about?
Sit.
No, don't take him!
After the young boys were taken away from their mothers, they were taken to school. Their schooling involved a little curriculum of reading and writing. Most of their training was severe military exercises such as fighting and other physical actions.
Toe. Tres. Cuatro. Cinco. Five. Six. Seis. Siete. Seven. Ocho.
Fights were promoted and encouraged. During the young Spartans' life, fights were not frowned upon because they strengthened them and prepared them for what lied ahead in their lives.
Women were raised from childhood to adulthood to be strong mothers. The Spartans' philosophy was that if the mother wasn't strong, the child she gave birth to wouldn't be either.
In their teenage years, the boys were only allowed to wear a single garment, no matter how hot or cold the weather. While marching for the military, they weren't allowed to wear shoes, and they went without food for long periods of times.
Boys were encouraged to scrounge for food and steal, but if found, they would be beaten rigorously.
Spartan boys were taught to learn the Spartan way. The children were told stories of courage and bravery involving the proper Spartan virtues.
One of the children's favorite tales told of a young Spartan boy who stole a fox and hid it under his chlamys. The boy didn't want to be punished by anyone seeing the fox, so when he saw Spartan soldiers coming, he let the fox tear at his body under his shirt. His face showed no signs of fear or pain. Young Spartans were taught to act this way and never let anyone see what they stole.
Around the age of 20, men were given a test to see if they would become a citizen. If they passed, they would return to their barracks and continue fighting. If they failed, they would be known as the middle class.
The young men were not allowed to marry until they were 30 years old. They lived with their barracks. The men could only eat one meal a day. They also had to give a portion of their meal each day or they would lose their status as citizens.
After marriage, the couple would meet in secret until the husband reached the age of 30.
He'll make a great Spartan soldier someday. Unlike other Greek city-states, women were free to own property. They did not have to care for their children or their husbands. They were practically their own masters. Women had more independence than any other city-state in Greece.
Women and children were not as close as they were in society today. But mothers were extremely proud of their sons' courage and braveness in the military. One woman's advice to her son before he went into battle was, "Come home alone with your shield or upon it."
At the age of 60, men would be allowed to retire from the military and return home to live with their families.
Although it did not seem that the Spartans had strong family ties with each other, there is evidence that they had well-ordered relationships with one another. The Spartan army was legendary and still is today.